Hey everybody, welcome to the Lifeboat. I am Captain Tommy. People, this is day 7 once again of the C-19 diaries. And believe it or not, I feel better than I did when I shot this morning's video. I'm very cautiously optimistic that I'm out of the deep water, and this is something that I'm going to be able to put in the rearview mirror here shortly. You know, people, I did the video this morning. I touched on the addiction of choice, and you know, you try to get something done in 7 minutes. I don't want to paint anything with a broad brush stroke, and I probably did pretty badly this morning. There are no absolutes. There are people who are going to weigh 105 pounds and nevertheless are going to develop into type 2 diabetes, regardless of whether or not they live the correct lifestyle. But in all honesty, it kind of proves the point, because addiction is the same way. There are people who are going to have the genetic marker that predisposes them to addiction, yet two of them can go side by side, and it might take one a year and a half of heavy drinking to develop that habit that there's no coming back from. Where you will have to quit and never be able to be a social drinker or ever go down that road again. Whereas the next person can achieve the exact same status on the 5th time they drink or the 1st time they drink. These things happen. There are no hard and fast rules to any of this. But the best part of this story, people, is the number of individuals. There was at least a handful of people that don't like the concept of addiction being a disease, and they, whether it be semantics or whether it be anything else, they have come to the conclusion that that is not something that is the model for them. What is amazing is just how well all of us disagreed. The world could learn a whole heck of a lot from this boat. There was no animosity. There was, in fact, we were killing each other with kindness while disagreeing with one another. And that, people, is the power of this boat. It's not me. It's not even the message. It's the fact that we all care for one another, whether or not we agree. We all care for one another. We're all in the same boat. One of the best comments that was written, I believe it was by, I'll misquote it, but it's two turnips. One is a turnip turning up or something to that effect. But there are literally, an infinite number of ways that somebody can arrive at addiction. Plain and simple. There are, I don't know, we're closing in on 1,400 crew members on this boat, and there would be that many stories, right? Everybody's story is a little bit different, but it all ends with, and I was not able to stop the habit that I was, addicted to. Whether that habit is pulling the arm on a slot machine, watching pornography, eating. There's a ton of people that have disorders where food does for them the exact same thing. I was talking to someone the other night, and they were talking about a song, and I will not relay the lyrics of this song because they are so foul. It is unbelievable. But the literally every other word is an F-bomb. And the person said, it was weird when the song wasn't on. I was singing it anyway, and it just sort of became this like life mantra for this person. And they said, I just don't understand it. People, you can get addicted to just about anything, especially if you have that predisposition to addiction. We tend to concentrate on the chemical, right? So tetrahydrocannabinol, right? You concentrate on THC, and they say THC is not addicting. It's not. You're not going to go into withdrawal symptoms if you quit smoking pot. It doesn't mean that the reward center of your brain that has been pumping the feel-good chemicals that we live on, right? These reward chemicals, people, are what protect us, right? It rewards the behavior that protects us. Have you ever noticed that you get into an argument with somebody, right? Your boss says something horrid to you, or you start arguing with somebody, and your breathing starts going, right? Everything starts happening. Your body doesn't understand that it's not about to get into a fist fight. True story, right? The reason we say to people, boy, if you start to get upset, take a deep breath. Because what you're telling your brain is, there's nobody about to hit me in the head with an axe. Because if there was somebody about to hit me in the head with an axe, I most assuredly would not slow down and take a deep breath, right? So when we start to get into that panic mode, or we start feeling ourselves really get rowdy and we take that deep breath, we're telling our brain, hey, it's all good. The brain, in spite of the fact that the eyes are attached to it, doesn't realize that when all of those factors start touching off all of those sensors, the brain doesn't understand whether or not it's fight, flight, or boy, I can't stand my boss. It's crazy, right? The brain is such a complex thing, and people, one of the only practices of medicine that isn't sort of hard and fast. We talk about the heart and we say this happens, this happens, this happens. Well, we talk about the lungs and we say this happens, this happens, this happens, right? Your alveoli come in and they suck in oxygen, and you have these little sacs throughout the lungs. When you talk about the brain, if you ask 9 psychiatrists what's going on, you'll get 9 opinions, because it really, we're just scratching the surface on what we understand about the brain. We do understand that the brain of an addict does not work the same as the brain of someone who is not an addict. And people were all in the same boat, right? And the best part is we all care about each other. There was another great comment that said, the one thing that they're really taking away from this is that this guy knew a couple of women that were, they were addicts. But he said their hearts were fantastic. They were great people. The one thing about the disease, they say that the disease concept, people don't want to let people off the hook, but there is no doubt that with type 2 diabetes, if you have the predisposition to it, right? If you have that genetic predisposition, just like you would have a genetic predisposition to addiction, that your lifestyle can bring on that disease. Much like, and it's not a hard and fast rule, right? Like I said, there are thin people that can get it. But if that is the case, we never say, oh, that loser, right? That absolute loser, what do you mean? Well, he's got diabetes. But society will say that absolute loser is an alcoholic, or that degenerate is a drug addict. And when we start to get people to accept the fact that this is a disease, then we're not letting them off the hook, but we're understanding that this is not something that they have control of. You no more have control of the ability to say no without a whole lot of help than you have with the ability to say, well, I'm just going to process this sugar out of my body. You know what I mean? I realize that my insulin doesn't work the right way, but I don't care, because my willpower is going to process this sugar out of my body. You do not have to agree with me, people. Ever. You don't have to agree with me. The only thing you got to agree with me on is that we're going to treat one another on this boat with respect and dignity that every single person deserves, regardless of what their drug of choice is, or their habit, or any of the things that they are addicted to, because addicts are people too. Straight up. And they matter, right? Is that a t-shirt? Like, drug addicts matter? How about damn? It's not a bad t-shirt. People, that's the only thing we got to agree on. The rest of it, we're not going to agree on everything, and it doesn't matter, right? Because if we all agree that we're going to treat one another with respect and dignity, the rest of it can fall where it does. And this is down near a 10-minute video, people. You know what that means, don't you? Oh yeah, the captain is back. People, I really appreciate all of the thoughts and the prayers. Keep them coming for Hannah. We're gonna pray her through this entire pregnancy, and we're gonna keep our positive thoughts. You know how many of you don't believe in God? And it does not bother you that I say we're gonna give her our prayers. It doesn't hurt you, right? What do you care if we're praying? But other places, people can't handle that. The fact that we all respect each other's beliefs on this boat is astounding if you look at it from the outside. But when you get in here, it doesn't seem like anything but normal. Such a statement on who you people are. Boy, oh boy. And as this boat gets bigger, there are going to be people that say that I did this. You all know that I didn't. You were here from Jump Street. This is the greatest group of people that ever came together, because addicts have incredible hearts. They've been through so much, and they know not to look down their nose at other people. It's our gift. It's our superpower. People, I am proud of you. Every one of you. I am proud to be friends with you. I am proud to be associated with you. And I am proud to be the captain of this boat. Thank you, everybody. This is day 7. I'm doing great, and tomorrow is going to be even better. Now let's go out there and save some people.